You know those days when your child's just on it. They're engaged, they're playing, they're curious, they're asking all of the questions. And then you have the other days. The days when nothing stacks up. Everything is out of order. They're irritable before lunch. Their attention is completely frazzled, and the whole day just seems to crumble apart. Most of the time, we parents just put this down to kids being kids. And most of the time, that's probably the case. But there's something worth noting that you probably didn't expect, and that is what your child eats in a day is connected to how their brain is being built. It also connects to how they sleep at night. This is something that is actively being researched as we speak, not in a scary way, but in a way that is genuinely interesting for us as parents to know. And that's what we're going to be diving into this week. Hello, and welcome to Dynamic Learning. I'm Jane, the channel made by parents for parents. We've done the research so you don't have to. So let's dive in. There's something worth noting here. Your child's brain hasn't finished developing yet. Not by a long shot. Right now, in these early years, the brain is in a period of rapid growth. Connections are forming, pathways are being laid down. The whole architecture is actively under construction, and all that building work needs raw materials. Those raw materials come from food. Health organizations who study young child nutrition note that children in this age range have quite high nutritional needs, especially relative to their stomach size. Small stomachs with big requirements. That's not something to stress about. It's just useful context. It's why what goes into those meals and snacks genuinely matters. Not in a rigid and rule-based way, but in a way that is steady and consistent over time. So I want to be clear about something from the start. This isn't about the perfect food. This isn't about the perfect diet. This is about you being informed rather than overwhelmed, because giving you your confidence back is what matters most. So, that being said, let's start by talking about sleep. As most parents know, sleep is very important to our children, but the why is often left out, specifically in the context of a young developing brain. Here's the connection. Sleep isn't just rest. During sleep, the brain is doing active work. Researchers who studied children's sleep have found that it's during sleep that children process and consolidate the memories from their day, the things they experienced, the words they heard, the small discoveries they made. Think about what your child encounters in a single day. A 2-year-old learning what behind means. A 4-year-old figuring out how puzzles work. A 5-year-old picking up a new social rule that they've learnt at nursery. All of that learning gets sorted and organised during sleep. And when sleep is interrupted or cut short, so is that process. And this is where food comes in. Research is actively exploring the links between dietary nutritional needs and the brain chemicals that regulate sleep, things like serotonin and melatonin, and how the sleep-wake cycle actually works. The relationship between what children eat and how they sleep are a real area of scientific inquiry. We can't tell you, eat that one thing and your child will knock right out, because that would be lying, that would be overstating the power of food, and that's not really how food works. But here's what we can say. The relationship between food and sleep is seriously being studied, and there's an association between meal timing, when children eat across their day, and sleep quality. It's not one big dramatic thing. It's a set of conditions that either support each other or they don't. And here's the domino effect. When sleep is consistent and sufficient, memories consolidate more effectively. When memories consolidate more effectively, learning builds on itself more naturally. When learning builds on itself, your child is more settled, more curious, and more engaged. Food plays a role in supporting the conditions that make good sleep possible. You can see why all this matters, right? You're not controlling every little variable, but you're placing yourself in a position where you can support the whole system. So let's take a moment to talk about energy, specifically steady release of energy. Your child's brain runs on glucose, but that's just biology. The question is, how is that energy being released? Because even if your child is only eating a quarter of a grape a day, they're going to find that energy from somewhere, mark my words. But it's all about that steady release of energy. Think of your child's brain as water pressure in a tap. A steady flow keeps everything running. A sudden surge, followed by almost nothing, is a different experience. When blood sugar rises quickly and then drops just as fast, you can often see the result in your child's mood and focus. The shift from fine and concentrated to irritable and unfocused in a short window. Now, I want to be very careful here. This is not about demonizing sugar or any particular type of food. That is not the message. The message here is how that energy can be steadily released throughout the day so that children feel that they can function at their most optimum level. Researchers have specifically looked at the glycemic index of breakfast foods. That's basically a measure of how quickly carbohydrates raise blood sugar and its relationship to cognitive function. The idea is that the type of carbohydrates that your child eats in the morning may be connected to how well they think and focus later on throughout the day. It's not definitive, but the association is being studied, and it makes biological sense. In practice, it would look something like this. A breakfast that includes some protein, some fat, and some slower releasing carbohydrate tends to provide a more sustained energy than something that's mostly fast releasing. Eggs on toast, porridge with fruit, a yogurt with a bit of cereal. Not because any one particular food is either good or bad, but because combinations are what tend to produce a more steady energy release. And a child with steady energy is more ready to engage in the world around them. And that's the point. So there you have it. Part 1. Food builds the brain. Sleep organizes what it has learned. And steady energy release helps to ready your child for learning. In part 2, we are going to be exploring the what. Which specific nutrients does your child's growing brain need the most? What everyday foods provide them? And most importantly, what does all of this look like across your week? Because the truth is, real life with a toddler doesn't look like textbook nutrition. But the good news is, it doesn't have to. I look forward to seeing you all in part 2. If you found this interesting or helpful in any way, sharing it with another parent is the best way to help this channel grow. Comment, share, like, subscribe, the whole shebang. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.